Hello. So, let's you and me talk a little bit about... what will we talk about? We're going to talk about grid layout. So, I made a video, it feels like a million years ago now, where I was saying that what grid layout proves to me that there are limitations in CSS, and these limitations are manifesting themselves more and more, where I honestly believe, and I still believe, this is not a video where I go back on what I've been saying. This is a video about me clarifying some things. I still think that maybe WebGL and maybe like what's gonna happen what's happening in terms of graphics rendering in the browser is going to take care of this. I don't know, but I still think that CSS as it is today is not enough for a lot of the stuff that we want to do. It's getting better, but a lot of the things that we want to be able to do in the browser is not really... CSS was never really designed to do that, and I still think it's a very limited tool for a lot of stuff we want to do. And I think that the way that grid layout works very much proves this. I think that there's a lot to that specification. I think that the problem it solves is amazing. It's an elegant solution. Considering the limitations, it's a very elegant solution. And I want to thank Rachel Andrew for all the work she's put into pushing this, because she is one of the main people behind the specification. And I really do appreciate the work that's been put into this, because I think that grid layout is going to be very important. It's going to help solve a lot of problems with styling and all the stuff that we do in CSS. And that's with that being said, I still don't want to I still think that we need to take it one further. I don't want this to be the end. I don't grid layout is just one thing, and the end goal should be to build something better than CSS. I think it's great that CSS has is improving and so forth. I just don't like the idea that we stick with it and that there's no way out of it, because it's just not enough anymore. I don't think so. You can do a lot with it, and for the purposes that it was designed to do, we can absolutely use it, but I think we deserve something better. We need something better. But I was reading an article today about grid layout, and I have to say that I'm trying to take as much knowledge as I can from Rachel's from her book and from the articles that she's posted, because she's really good. I have to admit, I was really drawn in by her writing and how well she expresses how grid layout works, because it is a fairly complex topic, especially for those of us who haven't been working much with design and artboards and stuff like that. I'm fortunate enough to I don't know why this happens. It's been something that's been consistent throughout my life. It's just for no apparent reason, I get this little itch inside of me, and I kind of go, well, what would be pretty cool? Learning some design, learning some basic stuff about that or this or that and so forth. And somehow, whenever I do that, I don't become a master, of course. I just try it out a little bit. Then further down the road, I find that, hey, now that information was actually kind of useful. It's actually something I've always done, and I really encourage you to do it as well. It's great fun. Is to be think of yourself as a collector of information. Think of yourself as a person, the sort of person who collects useful knowledge. I love that. When I was a kid, I would go to the library and get books on all kinds of stuff. Anything from hypnosis to magic to all kinds of stuff that I just found interesting. I don't really have to do anything with it. I just like learning about things that learning stuff that I think might be useful. So now, armed with some basic understanding of grids and layout and good design practices, and Rachel's descriptions of how the column and row system works, I actually it spoke to me. I can really see how this way of working can become very powerful. Now the true challenge for us is the next thing, and that is that unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that you can do with the grid layout is actually possible to do with just Flexbox and some extra markup and CSS magic. You can do a lot of it, not all of it, and that's sometimes what people kind of like, they want to sell you on that, like there are cases where you need the grid layout, and I kind of think that, yeah, absolutely, I think that there are absolutely corner cases where grid layout is going to do the job that Flexbox can, but I kind of feel that the reason why we hype that or like push that is because we want to face off again. We want to kill that the argument that, hey, if grid layout does the exact same thing as I can do with Flexbox and some extra magic, why do I need grid layout? And I think that's the wrong. I don't want us to even dignify. Like, all right, we have to answer that argument. But I think that instead of figuring out especially complicated corner cases the way grid layout can do something that's not possible with Flexbox, I think we should have the approach that, hey, this is a nicer experience. It makes things easier. It actually scales better, because what I think is really nice is that by using grid layout and expressing things from the container inwards, you're actually able to add stuff to that layout much more easily in general terms than you may have been with having a more complicated Flexbox layout. So, never forget the developer experience is actually a really good, strong argument towards using something. But I'll not waste your time anymore. I wanted to make this video because I think I don't know, Rachel has sold me on grid layout, and I'm very excited to start using it in my daily flow. And that's the thing now I have to start learning, and that is to remind myself that when I start working on a project, I need to think about it, because the support is, I actually checked caniuse.com just the other day, and the support, I'm probably way outdated on this, but it has pretty much full support now. So there's no reason for you not to use grid layout apart from habit. And so let's you and me try to break that habit and start using this very interesting new piece of technology.